Congratulations, New Zealand.
Welcome to the Crusader.
Welcome to the podcast.
It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time coming, G.
But I'm here now.
But we're here now. How you going, New Zealand? How you going?
What an intro.
What's going on, brother?
It's the podcast no one wanted.
But everybody asked for.
Nathan, it's high time we had a catch up. We had such a good response to that interview with you. So many people. And then there's this lovely thing that's happening where people go, oh, what's happening with Steve Oliver? Give us an update. Or what's happening with you? So we thought, yeah, let's get him in. It's high time. How have you been?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, very good. I've had this terrible thing. It was called Omicron. And honestly, I had 3 days in bed with like a runny nose. And I had this little cough for a day and my muscles hurt for a day. It was truly, I think it's worth shutting down the whole of New Zealand for that. It was so severe that after 3 days I went, what was that thing? It was a cold.
Sounds like the flu.
A lot of people are honestly going, is this what we have put over 48,000 businesses into complete and utter shutdown and bankruptcy, and families being torn apart and kids cutting themselves and being traumatized, and everything being disrupted for something that was not what was painted?
Yes.
Have you had it?
Well, yeah, I think I mentioned I got COVID last year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah.
Some people try to say it was, oh no, yeah, you got Delta. I'm like, well, my paper says SARS-2. It doesn't say Delta.
Yeah.
It says COVID. So I think they're all the same.
Well, that just shows, because I normally remember important things from previous interviews, but that's how minor it was in our last interview. It's a minor thing. So where do you think New Zealand's at?
Well, according to the public, we're free now. We're outside. We can do whatever we want. We can fly wherever we want to fly. We can, apparently it's normal, but yet it still isn't. And we still are in orange, whatever that means.
Whatever that means. And I'm so sick of hearing numbers being read out on every bulletin, the numbers of COVID. We don't know if they're COVID because we need a study of jabbed people and unjabbed people to see if those people in hospital, those people dying supposedly from COVID, were the jabbed ones, and how many are unjabbed in hospital and dying.
Yeah,
we need to know that.
You'd have to double check this, but I saw a video about a week ago. I think it was from an Australian news site, and they were saying, or someone on there was saying, that the rapid test that people are taking, they don't know. Like if you're positive, it could just be the flu. They don't really know anymore. No. So, and I think they knew that all along, but who am I?
I like the mask wearing continuing. I was somewhere the other day and a woman had 2 masks on at a time when most of us have had it, and that gives us an immunity. Yeah. It's like, when does that mask madness stop? I mean, I actually read an article saying little microfibers of plastic come out of those masks and are being found in lungs. Yeah. We need to research that as well. Yeah. Are masks good? Is it good to breathe in your own carbon dioxide all day? Probably not. You reckon?
No, I mean, I still see people running around the city training with their masks on. I'm like, dude, it's very unnecessary. It's fine. I mean, when I go into Pack and Save or Countdown, I don't wear a mask anymore, but it's not because, oh, I'm just trying to be cool and you just don't want to wear one. That's like, I don't need it. What do I need it for? I'm not sick.
Totally.
You know, you only wear the mask if you're sick.
And we have always been alongside, viruses have always been alongside human development. Like they're talking this morning about a monkey virus. There's going to be an endless stream of viruses if we don't stop all this fear about bugs.
Well, I think, we'll touch on this later, but I think they want to keep a little bit of fear subtly out there, just to remind you, don't get too comfortable, because something from a monkey, wasn't it bat? Oh yeah, bat, I was going to say monkey soup, but I think it was bat soup. Who knows? I think it was leaked. I don't know, but.
So how do you keep that? How do you keep that perspective and the humor and all the other things that people admire you for? Truth-telling, fearlessness, perspective. How do you do it?
Through the rough times, it's basically like, it's just a lot of, positive thinking, I guess, for to mentally to express all of it. It's through the content I was doing, without trying to look like a madman and screaming at the top of my lungs like a nutcase. Like, I turned it into something that was a bit more digestible for the audience, and yet made me feel somewhat better, like there was just this weight off my shoulders, after expressing all of that. What's
amazing, the feedback we had, was how you doing that makes so many other Kiwis feel better, because they think, I'm not mad. All those things he's expressing, I'm feeling in my gut.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy, because I didn't intend for, obviously, well, I don't know, but it worked out that way, but I didn't do it for that. I was just expressing how I felt, and it got to the point where I was like, I don't really care if like I get crucified for saying this, because I know deep down in my stomach that I'm talking that real shit, and if somebody else identifies with that, then cool. And yeah, obviously it was really great to see like the messages that would flock in of people like, holy shit, I thought I was the only one, and now there's you. And it's like, yeah, I mean, we're not all going to think what they think, right? Or what she thinks.
That's what they want, Nathan. Yeah. That is what they want. Yesterday, they put out this huge thing across all mainstream media saying, there are 12 sources of mistruths. And my name was on the bottom of that list. New Zealand doctors, NZDSOS, some of the best researched people in this country were on it. Mm-hmm. Voices for Freedom, all the ethical people who've had the guts and courage to say, something's not right, and I want to speak up. Your name wasn't on it. You were lucky.
My name was not on it.
You haven't made the roll of honor. see if you do in turn 2. But it's horrifying, because there was a Radio New Zealand interview, and she never even asked the propagandist, the PR spin doctor from the government, this woman called Kate. The Radio New Zealand so-called reporter never even said, how do you define misinformation or disinformation? No, they just kept running everybody down who's trying to question, who's trying to gather research and evidence of jab injured. Mm-hmm. They just kept running them down. But if you try and define misinformation or disinformation, it's impossible, because at that point you have to go, I know the truth, and everybody who doesn't agree with my truth is wrong, which gets us back to Jacinda's one source of truth.
Yeah.
Which is not free speech, which is not democracy, which is not the country we want for our kids.
Yeah. Well, that's
insane.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's to me, it's difficult to say, but like in terms of being labeled things like as you just were, but it's like, of course they don't want that. They just want what they want across. That's why it is the way it is.
Yeah.
And anybody who opposes that, they're just going to make up any term to dismiss whatever information they're putting out there, especially and obviously if it's going against what they want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that gets us back to this being not about health, but about some kind of power and control. And
it's never been about health, Liz.
What?
Has been the ultimate disruptor. It has changed our realities and given us cause to pause and reflect. In the disruption is an opportunity for us to reset.
And
over the next 3 years, there is much work to do. We will build back better from the COVID crisis. Better, stronger, with an answer to the many challenges New Zealand already faced. This is our opportunity. Fortunately for us, we already have a blueprint for such a world in the Sustainable Development Goals and the 2030 Agenda. We have incorporated the principles of the 2030 Agenda into our domestic policy making in a way that we hope will drive system-level actions. This is not just a new scorecard. It is about fundamentally changing how we make decisions and therefore how we allocate resources.
Wait a minute. You have to get your health out of a needle, don't you? Don't you, Nathan?
Yes, you do, apparently.
Yeah.
4 times now.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
Yeah. And a lot of people, have you seen some of the death notices in the paper? They're really sad. If you look at the back of the Herald, there are all these death notices saying, someone sent them through to me, and they're all going, "Oh, died suddenly."
Yeah.
Sudden death.
Yeah.
Sad, sudden death.
Yeah.
Very unexpected death. A lot of those phrases.
Yeah.
And people have got to start putting this together and go, this is an unusual number of sudden, unexpected deaths. Why could this be happening? What are we doing differently now that we weren't doing a year ago?
And it's like, to them, it's like they're not worried about that, because to them, who the fuck is reading the back of the New Zealand Herald?
Yeah.
Who's looking at the deaths at the back of the New Zealand Herald? We're looking at the titles.
Yeah.
We're looking at the middle section, and then
Yeah.
the rest is kind of entertainment, movies, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so it's sad, but I mean, I always try to view it from the perspective of the general public's view, outside of us and many others, you know?
Yeah. But I think more people could go online and have a look at those death notices. It'll wake them up.
Yes.
See, one thing about your work, it's made a lot of people feel it's okay to be more rebellious and stand up.
Yeah.
It scares the government. Have they gone after you as they're going after many of my friends who are being brave? Steve Oliver is one. They're definitely going after him. Definitely going after me for about the 7th or 8th time. So my wonderful cameraman always goes, "Oh, Liz, you're above target. You know, you're right on target."
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be going after us if we weren't doing something that they didn't like. In other words, tell the truth. They don't like the truth. They want their truth out there. But are they going after you in any way, Nathan? Have you had anything like that? You'll find it in the form of maybe trolling, heavy duty trolling on your site, or possibly they might come after you for some spurious financial reason or something like that. Have you had anything like that you've come up against?
In terms of like going after me, no. As mentioned, they tried when they thought they had me because they thought I went to the main protest as a positive case, which I spun back at them, and they look like dickheads as usual.
That was brilliant, because you recorded that message way after you'd had
yes,
COVID.
I calculated everything, Liz. Yes, and they fell for it. Yes, and they've never tried to go after me again. But Facebook warns me every single time I upload any video now that will potentially lose my page. It will just get wiped and deleted. So I do get that. So I am a bit cautious now, a little bit of what I say, because it's like the videos that got taken down literally were just telling people exactly what Jacinda said. I was just
quoting her.
I was rephrasing what she was saying, but it got taken down for misinformation and for mainly for causing harm. My information could cause people to do self-harm to themselves.
Oh my God.
I don't know how that works, but yeah, so they've tried that, and
it says a lot of what Facebook thinks of Jacinda then, because you are just taking literally her quotes and putting them in.
I am. But it's real weird, because it's like this has only happened once on my Instagram page, which obviously gets a lot of heavy traffic as well, and they're both owned by the same company, but it's basically my Facebook that's just keeps getting attacked. So I have made a backup page for that, just in case. I never wanted to do that because I don't believe it should come to that. Again, I'm not saying aliens are real or the earth is flat or any weird shit like that. I'm just literally rephrasing what our prime minister was telling us last year.
It's insane that we have come to this in New Zealand, and that Kiwis will even begin to accept this. This is something truly, in my teenage years, I used to look at communist Russia and think, oh, those poor people, they never get the truth. We are not getting the truth through our mainstream media. it's an absolute truth that I'm saying there. They're telling us lies, and they're the government's lies. And then we get censored.
Yes.
Where is free speech when that happens?
Well, there is no free speech anymore, really. I mean, you know, they thought and they think that Elon Musk is going to save us by getting Twitter, but I don't know how that's going to save all the other platforms that we speak on. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard, especially when they're going. I'm pretty sure I saw an article mentioning that, you know, words like sheep and different words are going to be targeted now on Facebook as like misinformation.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, unacceptable.
Yeah,
That's it.
you can't say people are sheep for following along unquestioningly.
Yeah, it's just going to get tighter and tighter, I believe.
I don't know how we stop this. There is a way, though. I can feel that there's a way.
Yeah.
And I think it will become clear in the next months. I think Kiwis are really determined not to give up their sovereignty. And she's vastly underestimated us.
Yes.
What about other ways? Have you had any other difficulties for speaking up? Because that's what a lot of Kiwis love you for, and they do love you in huge numbers, your courage and your fearlessness, and they don't want to see you shut down. There'll be a lot of anger if this government goes after you. So have you had anything else that's been kind of government attempts to have a go, do you reckon?
Well, I have recently been stuck with a $3,000 to $4,000 bill.
What?
On my arrival last year when I came back from Australia, when they forced me into MIQ, and I tried to appeal it. I told them that I left on a travel bubble flight, which is when the borders were back open. I came back on a green flight, which means anybody can come back on there so long as you had, you know, your test. And I did fucking 3 of them, paid for 2, and they stopped me at the border, got the police, and I was police escorted to a shuttle, and now they're and I was negative the whole time I was in there, but that was obvious because I already showed up with like 2 or 3, I think, negative tests at the time. They didn't care. They were just like, well, your passport said you last went to New South Wales when you left here. I was like, yeah, on the fucking flight you gave me, and said we were all freely allowed to leave. But I didn't leave. Now, I would have understood if I left during the time the borders were closed, and then I left on a red flight to come back, and now I'm here complaining and going, fuck, what is this all about? But that's not what happened. That is not what happened.
So, Nathan, it would have been what? The whole flight then must have been put into MIQ?
No, just me.
What?
Just me. I
How
asked
does that even work?
I'm not an expert apparently, but I asked him. I said, I told the nurses there that were doing their tests and stuff on me. I said to them, well, if you're taking me off and this is a deadly virus that we're all going to die from, well, then the person sitting next to me at least is a close contact, right? So you should go get them and bring them with me, because now I've basically made the flight potential risk, really, because I've been around, I've stood in the lines with all these people. No, it's just you. We just need you. So,
but all those other people came from New South Wales as well?
Oh no, they came on from Brisbane, from where I came from. Sorry.
Right.
On
so
the
you flew out from Brisbane on a green flight.
Yes. Back
but
to
you'd flown into New South Wales, had you?
Yes, on the travel bubble, which is basically a green flight as well. So both flights were green. They were both when the borders were still open to those parts of Australia.
Okay.
And they're trying to get me on that. They also said when I appealed that, they said no, and also anybody that leaves after August 2020, you're liable for MIQ charges. I was like, 1, nobody ever mentioned that, and 2, if that was the case, why wasn't that announced when you guys announced the travel bubble flights at that time?
But I don't think that's the case. I think the charges came in later than August 2020. have to check that out.
Yeah,
That is, so what you need really is a good lawyer to step up and say, yeah, I'll work with Nathan and we'll fight this. Is that what you need?
To be honest, Liz, I just kind of want this to go away, to be honest. Like I just, obviously
3,000 to 4,000. Let's see if the public will thank you for all your work you've done.
Yeah.
And all the joy you've brought and all the courage you've put in people by donating $20 each. If people can just put in $20, we'll put the is that okay with you if we put the account up at the end? And people will probably help you. Because I don't think anybody wants to see any of us unfairly treated like this. But honestly, Nathan, you have done so much to give people a moment or a few moments of joy in what has been such a bleak New Zealand for 2 years. When a lot of people felt bullied. A lot of people have told me I felt bullied and intimidated. I felt like there was no hope standing up to this big machine that was rolling over me. And you just did, on behalf of so many of us, you did it. So if people can't thank you for that with $20, it's not a lot to ask. So let's see if we can support Nathan, just get that fine paid. So if they want to get their money the wrong way, they get their money the wrong way.
My pride says no, but my kindness says it's up to you. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. It's an acknowledgement. And it makes me sick because I was having those questions because everybody I know who's decent on this side and trying to fight for some fairness, some truth, some openness and transparency, there are all these little niggly things happening. Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of them, a lot of the annoying mainstream media attacks and attacks on my phone and my computer and all this stuff that's definitely coming from government level. It's just nasty. She plays dirty.
It's just weird because for me, it's like, we know it's not deadly. You're not going to die now. And that's why we were locked up in these hotels with 2 weeks of our lives taken away from us. So if you're dropping everything like that, well, then everybody that was in an MIQ should be dismissed. It should be. And if it's not, then you just want the money, eh? You just want our money. That's what you want. Because there's no other reason. And if you say, oh no, well you ate all the food at the hotel and that's what we got to, no, you forced me in that hotel. You made me eat that food. That's what you did. So you find someone like the Clinton Foundation, the Gates Foundation, whoever you get money from, and you stick that bill because that has nothing to do with us.
You had absolutely no choice but to follow along.
Yeah.
And the fact that you were singled out on the flight rings major alarm bells for me, Nathan. Yeah,
I mean, some of my friends have told me, bro, they're going after you. I'm like, I try not to go a bit too into that. Like, I try to keep a bit more level-headed. Like, no, I'm not that much of a threat to these people. But, like I have heard people say, I'm pretty fucking sure they know who you are, But I don't know. I guess, part of me doesn't feel like I'm that much of a threat, but I do plan to continue to do more content when we eventually go back into something else that may occur later on in the years to come.
Everybody talks about expecting that. There are a few universal themes. She's going to do it again. She's going to try it on again, scaring the country. But I don't think we're going to be so easily scared next time. I really don't.
I hope so. Maybe I have too much faith, and I mean, I had a lot of faith in the public that we wouldn't go for any of this in the beginning, but I was called crazy, and then look what happened. You went along with it, so my confidence has come down a little bit. But I do hope that now that we've seen that they told us we were all going to die, because remember, that's what they said. That's why they shut everything down, and we realize it's nothing but some people it's a bit more severe. I understand, but they didn't die. Nobody died from this thing. So I don't know. It just blows my mind that people are still going along with it. People still believe there could be and they
absolutely. And when they're saying COVID deaths, it is essential that we know how many of those COVID deaths they quote now are jabbed people, and that's what they hide. Everything is hidden with this government. Everything's opaque. You can't see through it. You've got to examine it. We actually need a group of really honourable people in politics who can come in future years and pull it all apart and teach Kiwis how much we've been lied to in these years. I believe that could happen. I believe in miracles. I really do.
I hope so. But yeah, just to wrap up with like the public. I mean, I think I have faith that they will come along and say, look, you try to get us before and you got us. It's not going to work again.
Yeah.
But many people have said to me they'll still buy it because there's still fear out there. Like you said, there's a monkey pox or something like that that's now out. So, maybe I should watch out for monkeys. Now there's going to be this one. Oh no, what's the next one?
The virus.
Turtle pox.
What pox?
Turtle. I don't know. Just they make up something and they'll believe it. You know, like I said, they'll tell you tomorrow that COVID doesn't exist. You're all going to believe it. So I kind of lose faith, but I still have faith in the public.
Well, why I have a bit of faith is heaps of Kiwis I'm talking to are saying, I've done my 2, the jabbed ones, done my 2, I'm not doing any more. Enough. It can't be good for a human body to keep being jabbed and jabbed and jabbed with poison.
A lot of people that I know, adults that are saying, no, I'm not getting the 3rd one.
Yeah.
But I know that they will, not because like they're pathetic or anything like that. It's because what do you think the government's going to do? They're going to just do what they did to get you to get the first 2, which is take everything away from you.
But if enough of us stand up and say, you are just our servants and we're not going to go along with it, the government gets scared really quickly if enough people speak up.
Well, that's the hope, Liz. That is the hope that I have, that the public do that. But again, I still have this other feeling that people don't give a shit, man. They're too surface level. They're just like, well, I still want to go here. And if I have to do that, then, I don't want to, but I'm itching to do whatever it is they're taking away from me so I can continue to keep doing that, you know, sadly. But I still am going to try to keep a bit more faith that the public will get their shit together and realize like you were tricked. And it's okay. It's fine. I don't judge you. It's not about that, but they lied. They tricked you into getting these things, and they're just going to keep doing it until you guys actually stand up and have your own back and just go, no, we're not fucking doing that. We're not doing that. Sorry. The gig's over. It's over.
When we do that in mass numbers, they just shrivel into nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what they are.
Yeah.
And their police force with them.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring talking to you, Nathan. Honestly, so many people will love it. And it's not just the amazing thing is all these, I just said this at the beginning of our last interview, all these women who I know who are very proper and they never swore much, and they all go, I swear all the time now over this thing. I love the way Sesh swears.
Yeah.
I love it. And a lot of people your age who feel I'm not alone. There's someone else around my age who can articulate what I'm feeling inside too and holding on to.
Well, all I was doing was just speaking how I believe everybody thinks and speaks when the curtains are closed. Exactly. Because let's be honest, we all are like that because we're all human. You know, it's just, we're not going to voice that in this climate because people are afraid of being judged or being spoken down to, or you're an idiot for saying that. Whereas someone like me, I don't give a fuck, man. You're not going to, you can't do anything to me because I've been through this with other things like entertainment and music and stuff like that. So getting a couple people mailing me saying, you're a fucking idiot. It's like, okay, thumbs up, man. Anyways, I'm going to keep doing it, and the numbers are going to keep getting bigger and larger because we're all starting to see what's going on here. Unfortunately, you don't, but that's all right. You know, so.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And to finish, I wanted to mention your podcast with your sister.
Yes.
Who some people have really been enjoying, and your sister sings as well.
Yes. She does. She
Tell
does.
us a bit about that. It's a really nice direction you're going in there.
Yeah, well, so the podcast is called Off the Top. It's basically I try to make it as professional as possible, since
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like
sounding
we don't
cool.
really have podcasts here in New Zealand. So I thought it would be a good time to tackle that. I've always wanted to do a podcast as well. And with this one, you know, I wanted to do the podcast is basically us talking about current events mixed with like entertainment and stuff like that, because we are movie fans, we are music fans. So we like to talk about our favorite movies that we just seen, or favorite artists albums that we talked about. But I like to talk about things that are actually going on, like our last episode we spoke about the food and gas prices that are rising right now, and how my conditioner went from $8 to $15. We speak about the lockdowns that are happening in Shanghai that I feel like nobody even knows what the fuck is going on over there. We speak about what else did we talk about? We've spoken about the COVID stuff and everything. I just try to mix a bit of like pop culture with a bit of real shit that's happening, because my target is to go after like a younger audience. Because yes, you know, Liz, and a lot of elder folk know and stuff like that, but a lot of like this young generation, you know, they're very, I get it, they're glued to their phone, TikTok, very 5-second videos is all they can watch, but I mean, with me being young, my sister being young, and then talking about these adult conversations and topics, I'm hoping it will draw more young people to open their mind. And we do it with our own humor, because my sister is basically a little girl version of me, and we just shit on each other throughout the podcast, have a bit of fun. So it's not just all serious. You know, there is humor. There's still that little bit of humor that you get from my content on Instagram and Facebook, but I guess it's not as brutal because it is on YouTube. And people do ask me, why don't you upload to this site or upload to that site? Because the people in the audience I'm trying to target, they don't even know these websites exist, to be honest.
Odyssey and BitChute and all those other platforms.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. They don't, you know, and they know YouTube. So we do have to not censor ourselves, but we are very delicate with the words that we choose, but we get the fucking point across. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe start putting it on Odyssey and BitChute as well, and people will start to gravitate there, because we're going to have to move away from censorship YouTube and censorship Facebook, because they're just throwing their weight around. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
I like, but like I was saying, for now it's just on YouTube and stuff like that, because the majority of the audience we're trying to target do use YouTube. It's like me, I've only just started to use TikTok, and I know you guys will all be like, what the fuck, you use TikTok? Don't you know that's owned by blah blah? Yes, I do. But do you know how many people watch TikTok videos every single day? And so if I can get some of my stuff that I'm already doing on Instagram and Facebook on there and get people to notice that, well, it's a win-win situation, isn't it?
Brilliant. Send us a link to the podcast. I loved it. I think she's a real character. Good genes in your family, Nathan. Very good genes. We'll do another catch up in a month or so.
Yes.
See some exciting things happening. Yeah, really good to talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Feel like God went and blessed me with the trick dice, and I left ass on bread,
even though it
wasn't enticing. On my right hand, and I'm on stage by myself, and with the hype, man. Go ahead, man, tell me what your price is. Mine is 100 B's, nigga, you can't swipe it.
How you going? What's up, New Zealand? What's up, world? My name is Sesh.
I'm Alex.
And welcome to the Off the Top podcast.
The podcast nobody wanted,
but everybody asked for. What's going on, man? How you been?
No, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. It's been a bit of a journey these last 2 weeks. It hasn't really. I just thought it would sound cool if I started off. It's been a bit of a journey these last couple of weeks.
Booked and busy?
Yep.
Not the book part, but he's busy.
I'm always busy. I don't know about getting booked. What about yourself? Have you got a gig yet? And have you been signed to
Yes.
Netflix yet?
No, been very good. Thank you, my friend. You know, not doing much, not seeing people, just on the hustle, on the grind, whatever everyone says.
Yes. Speak.